I just went hiking. It's like 40 degrees out and I'm super low cortisol. So I took an extra pill and I'm gonna wait before I can drive. And so while I wait, I figured I would talk about osteoporosis. I recently had my most recent bone density scan and checked on my progression of my osteoporosis, and I thought that I would share about steroid induced osteoporosis because not many people are aware of it or really understand it. So I'll do my best to navigate this topic while I'm in brain fog. So steroids are great when they save your life and they're necessary, like for example with Addison's disease. However, they also deplete your body in other areas. So they're damaging on the liver and deteriorate bone mass. So most Addisonians, like myself, who are on steroids for life end up having osteoporosis at different degrees and at different stages of their life, developing at different times. So theoretically, when we're taking our steroids, they are replacing the cortisol that we're not making. But if we're taking too much, that is when the steroid starts to eat away at the bone mass. And long-term steroid use just over time is going to do that as well. So I've been on steroids for 2.5 years now. And when I went out to the Mayo Clinic in 2016, they diagnosed me with osteoporosis already. And I had only been on steroids for a couple of months, and I had already ended up with osteoporosis, which just... that's how it happened. Sometimes for some people, it happens faster for others. So here we are 2 years later, and I did my follow-up to see the progression, and overall it's not terrible. My personal osteoporosis is, still progressing in my spine and in my neck, predominantly, not as much in my hips as it was as prominent last time. So in order to combat that, because we can't stop taking the steroids, people who need steroids to live, you can't stop. So even though this medicine is keeping you alive, it may be hindering you in other areas. You can combat it with eating calcium through food. That's number one primary source you're going to do. There's tons of leafy greens that offer copious amounts of calcium. And if you're able to tolerate dairies, that's the way to go too. I don't personally like that I have to have dairy, but my body needs it so severely that I eat a ton of goat dairy to replace as well the calcium, as well as I take vitamin D. Vitamin D is going to help with that bone situation. And most recently I've started going outside without using sunscreen, which sounds totally crazy, but as someone I have vitiligo as well, the skin pigment disease, so I used to live in sunscreen. However, sunscreen is like a complete blocker of vitamin D, and so you can't absorb any of it when you're wearing sunscreen. So my endocrinologist has advised me to not wear sunscreen, as she would rather me absorb the vitamin D than protect my skin. So those things, and then weight-bearing exercises, which is what I was just doing. So I was helping my osteoporosis, but of course it cost me spoons, so my Addison's is now suffering. But hiking, backpacking, rock climbing, jumping on the trampoline, lifting weights, Pilates, yoga, all these weight-bearing things are going to help slow down the progression of osteoporosis, as well as maybe pause it a little bit, depending on where it is in your body and what's happening in your body. I think that's as far as my brain will process right now, as I have to save spoons to be able to drive. But basically, osteoporosis is kind of unavoidable for people with long-term steroid use. However, the positive is that we get to be alive longer and be people, and you just enjoy your body while you got it, and enjoy your bones and use them and do all the things that you can to strengthen your body when you do have the spoons to do it. Okay, that's it.